let go of all that we know and dance in the stardust gentle flow. Dance
Welcome
in the
back to the Pause
stardust
Straight Up. I am your host, Shannon. Welcome back. Listen, I am so stressed about politics right now. Now, listen, this is not meant to be a political podcast. I'll tell you that right up front, but it is impossible to ignore what's going on here in the United States. And also, I do think it's kind of fair to let anybody who's listening to me know right out the gate that I don't really intend to talk about politics, but you should know, yeah, I am a liberal, born and raised. I'm from Iowa, so we take politics very seriously. We used to when I was growing up. And that's because we vote first in the caucus and primary part of the presidential election cycle. So I grew up with that and I take it very seriously. My family is entirely comprised of Democrats. So I am looking at what's going on in our country, and without getting into too much detail, to be honest, it just feels like everything is crumbling around us. Do you know what I mean? Are you feeling that stress? If you don't align with that viewpoint, that's your own business. You can feel however you'd like to feel for the time being. We do still have a quote unquote free country. Um, but you should know that that's where I'm coming from in absolutely everything that you might hear in this podcast at any given moment. That's where I'm coming from. So you make your decisions based on that as to whether or not you want to listen. But honestly, as I look around me, I see this kind of hellscape that is like it's opening up and swallowing everything I thought was true and real and wonderful about this country is disappearing right in front of my eyes. So I am incredibly stressed about that every day. I try my best not to scroll, like as they call it, doom scrolling. Completely apt name for that. And so when I am thinking about what do I want to talk about in my podcast this week, etc., this is the immediate first topic that jumps to mind. However, I fully recognize and get behind the idea that we do sometimes need to escape from politics. It can't be something that's our entire lives and personalities, unless, of course, that is your job to do. And I absolutely respect the people who are out there doing that. Um, it's way too stressful for me to center it so much in my life. But every day I do feel torn between I need to pay attention to what's going on. It is my responsibility as a US citizen and somebody who cares about the lives of myself, my family, my friends, and everybody around me. I want the best for everyone in the world. And by not paying attention to what's happening, by not amplifying other people's voices, I'm a white woman. I'm trying to use the privilege that I've got, and I've got this kind of on a loop in my head. I need to pay attention to this so I can sound the alarm. And so that my husband, who is an immigrant, naturalized citizen, are we gonna lose that position? Are we gonna have to run? Are we gonna have to flee? Literally, I'm thinking about this, and I know there are some people who are saying right this second, listening to this, girl, take a deep breath. It's not that serious, and I'm here to tell you it is absolutely that serious. Okay, so I need to prioritize that kind of safe space for myself to take a break from looking at my phone, take a break from reading articles, and go outside and touch grass, as the kids love to say these days. That is real advice. That is authentic. We should all be going outside and touching grass more. So, and appreciating those small things in life that we do love. But for me, right now, this is an unavoidable topic that is just circling my mind constantly, constantly. So, if you're not on the same page with that, I absolutely get it. But here we are. This is my podcast. That's what I want to talk about in my little opening segment. But it is, I know, weighing heavily on the minds of so many people. And so many of us who are middle-aged women, we as like elder millennials, Gen X, even if a boomer happens to be listening to this, we've all seen a lot of shit. we've lived through a lot of shit. And I think we can use those skills to see that we're in a very serious situation right now. And so it's hard to turn off our awareness of that, right? But we escape into things like comfort watching TV shows, movies. I know I've certainly been rewatching things. I'm about to start on another rewatch of Downton Abbey. God help me, I watched it 8 times from start to finish when we were in quarantine. But I'm about ready to go over to Downton Abbey again. Like I'm almost at that point. It's almost there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be clear. We listen to podcasts maybe to learn things, maybe to have pure escapism. Maybe we're watching those YouTube videos analyzing Taylor Swift's new album release. Heaven knows I was. Like I was excited about that this week. I am a low-key Swiftie. If you don't vibe with that, that's cool. But you're definitely going to hear her name on this podcast from time to time. But anyway, let's try and get ourselves together because we do have shit we have to do. We have to function on a daily basis. But yeah, that's what's in my mind this week. Okay, let's get into our main segment for today. Our main topic, and the thing that has also been kind of going around my mind, is what kind of shit is my body doing these days? I don't even know. I am about to turn 48 in less than a month. My birthday is August 31st. Get your presents in while you can. I feel like I'm falling apart at the seams. I think this is not an uncommon feeling, though. For me, I don't have kids to chase around. Thank the Heavenly Lord. I am not somebody who has to be responsible for the upkeep and protection of another individual. So I can just take my time, relax, sleep in, all that great stuff that younger people with small kids might not have the luxury of doing. But when I get up out of that bed every day, my lower back says, "What the fuck are you doing? Who do you think you are to just jump out of this bed? Are you out of your mind?" And it, I think a lot of people have lower back pain. This is not a novel observation, right? But as a woman in middle age, what did I do? I went to the doctor. It's been 2 years ago now. And I said, "This is not right. This has been building up. Lower back, left side. What's going on? Please help me fix this problem." And I heard what a lot of people, and especially women in middle age, hear, and that is, "Well, it's just part of getting older, isn't it? Back's going to hurt," right? I was so frustrated when I heard that. And I think about it all the time. This doctor really just was like, "Well, get used to it. Sorry, bitch. You got a bad back. Join the club. We got jackets." Yeah. However, I insisted, and so I had an X-ray at that time, and it turns out that one of my discs in my spine is actually resting slightly on top of the disc next to it. And there's a special name for it, and I'm blanking on it at this second. But when I move in certain ways, I can hear a grinding noise. Now, I am not a doctor, but that is not right. And I should not have to live with my discs grinding together. But this doctor had no solutions for me. Now, I am very disappointed to say this was a female doctor, and she really had no time for me. Her solution was do some physical therapy. Okay, I did some physical therapy. It did not help at all. What I do think will help, based on the research that I've done, is just increasing the strength in my lower back. But at the same time, and also, of course, I'm consuming the same media that a lot of you are, which is that middle-aged women should be focusing in terms of exercise less on cardio and more on lifting heavy, as they say, weightlifting. But also, lifting heavy weights is contraindicated for someone with the bad back, like in the way that I have it. So, what should I do? You know, I have to build up my strength regardless. So, this is something that I would love any tips on because I'm in eating healthy, weight loss, weightlifting groups on Facebook. And I've asked the question about what to do. Nobody seems to really have an answer. And of course, a responsible answer is go to your doctor. But what do you do when your doctor doesn't take you seriously? And they're like, yeah, go do some PT. You'll be fine. Listen, this is what it's like to get old. Tough luck. Just so frustrating, right? Another thing which I absolutely did not realize was associated with perimenopause, and that is the itchy inner ears. I had no idea other people were suffering from this. I saw people posting in Facebook, like, hey, by the way, here's a pro tip. Even somebody said, I saw in a group today, you know what's really effective? Spray Flonase on a Q-tip and rub it in your ear. And evidently, that is supposed to help reduce the itchiness. I guess if it's something related to an allergy of some kind, maybe, but if it's connected to perimenopause, I'm not exactly sure how that goes together, but still. I'll take any tip I can get. I'm going to try that tonight, actually. And also, another little pro tip I got today about Flonase is that you can actually use it as a, not an, I don't want to say antibacterial, it isn't, but as a little kind of spray, give it a little spritz on your abdomen or your rear end before you put your estrogen patch on, because a lot of us, myself included, often get rashes from those patches. But they're miracle workers. We all know, those of us who are on it, what a difference they make. So you don't want to give it up, but it does make a pretty nasty red rash sometimes. And evidently, that can be because it's some allergy to the glue. And the Flonase helps to combat that, evidently, question mark. So I'm going to be trying to do that as well. See if that happens. Maybe Flonase is the winning touch. I don't know. Um, Another thing that my body is doing now that is so frustrating, and again, gotta get in the gym, I guess, and that is when I've been sitting down for a long time, it's definitely the standard standing up like, like grunts to get up out of the chair. Of course, right? But actually, what I find so much more embarrassing is that when I stand up and I get to start like walking, my body is just so stiff, my lower body, that when I first start walking around, I honestly look like I just got off of a horse on a 2-day trail ride. Like bowed legs, everything, the works. And I think it's my adductor muscles. Are those the ones on the inside of your thighs? But one of those sets of muscles, either like my inner thighs and my outer thighs, and basically your hip flexors, right? There's so much out there about how these muscles control tons of things within our body. They hold negative energy. These are things you're supposed to be working on, stretching and improving. And honestly, I think that's exactly right. And maybe one of my goals coming up is to do some at home Pilates exercises. I can't really afford at this time to go out to Pilates classes and use their fancy equipment. I think it's called a reformer, right? I know you can get them for your home, but like I think I'm gonna try this out. Building my muscles, building the suppleness and flexibility of muscles. Do any of you have experience with Pilates? What do you think? Because it seems great to me. Yoga, I've tried it in the past when I was a lot heavier. I didn't really vibe with yoga. I found it very difficult. I know that Pilates is also extremely difficult, but I feel like for my particular issue, maybe Pilates is the better choice to just push myself to do that. And honestly, do I also want to be one of those women who's walking around like with a Stanley cup and I'm never gonna get one of those Labubu things for my purse because I think they're ugly, but, like, walking around with my cute, like, gym bag and Stanley cup and, swishing my key like, jangling my keys around, like, "Oh, I'm gonna run in and grab some stuff at the Whole Foods?" I don't know. Do Pilates girls shop at Whole Foods? Probably. Wish I could shop at Whole Paycheck, but still, that aspirational kind of physicality, I'm here for it. That's what I want. I wanna be the Pilates girl. So all my friends are like, OMG, did you hear Shannon does Pilates? That's brave. So yeah, if you have any hot Pilates tips, let me know. That's definitely on my list. Honestly, my body in general, I just feel just tired. So I think getting up, exercising in terms of just walking my ass around our apartment complex. My husband wants to go for walks. Let's go for walks. That's going to be on my absolute goal list. Get out of this house, touch grass, go on a walk, and do some stretching. I think I have wanted to put together some kind of stretching plan for years because I can feel my muscles just tightening up like a bolt that's rusted on. That's where I'm at right now, and I hate it. I hate it. So I just have to get out of my comfort zone, right? I gotta make myself go out and actually do the thing. I'd like to go do kayaking. Anybody into outdoor stuff out there? I love camping, kayaking. I hate hiking. Ugh, gross. But maybe that's it. Maybe that would be more motivational for me, just moving my body in a joyful way. And I saw, who was it? Was it Seth Rogen, possibly? Or somebody along those lines talking about once he saw that the point of exercise is really just to move your body in a way that makes you happy, reframing your physical exertion from that point of view. Really, something clicked for me when I saw that because for my whole life, I thought of exercise as some kind of torture fest, something that I had to endure. For example, in high school, PE class was a nightmare for me as a heavy girl. And we had to start class by running 3 laps around this huge school gym, and it was, like, up on this 2nd level, and the teacher would stay down on the 1st level and just kind of mildly keep an eye on us. So I would just kind of, like, hide in a little corner and then come out and do 1 lap and and exit. And one time he caught me. Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. Yeah, typical fat girl hiding from running her laps, but that is not the kind of movement that my body was good at, first of all, and second, that I was interested in. If we had done something that was more interesting to me, like I used to like going on the rowing machine, for example, and doing some other machine type things like this, Stairmaster, et cetera, maybe that could have been more interesting for me. But to have to run in front of my peers, absolutely not. Fuck off. I'm not doing that. So I've always thought of exercise from that viewpoint. This sucks is the starting point. And when you start with that, you're already setting yourself up for failure, right? So I have to really reframe how I am thinking about it for sure. So, how are you finding your bodies these days? Are you doing the most to maintain your flexibility, to maintain your interest in physical activities out and about? Do you have a routine that you follow? Anything that you found was particularly successful, I would love to hear about it. Okay. Send in a little comment, anything. Give me some pro tips because, girl, I need it. I really do. Now we get to my favorite segment where I get to tell you my escape plan. Oof. I'm telling you what, I need to escape. I got to get out of here. If money is no object, where am I running away to this week? Where would I go? And I have to tell you, I'm going directly to the Italian Riviera. Please get out of my way. I am going to Amalfi. I'm going to Sorrento. I'm going to Capri. I'm going anywhere where I can sit on a terrace overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, sipping an espresso for breakfast. Maybe I'll indulge with a cappuccino. I'm going to go out for cocktails in the evening. You know I'm having an Aperol spritz. You know it. Absolutely. I'm having 10. Let's not joke. Okay. I'm sitting with my friends in a little cocktail bar in Capri. We're having Aperol spritzes. I'm wearing a sundress. Damn it. I don't care how fat my upper arms look. And I'm enjoying the beautiful warm weather, the scenery. I'm eating pasta al limone. I love lemon with pasta. It's for everybody. Italy is for everyone. What do they say? Italy is for lovers? Absolutely. I would love to stay in some boutique hotel in the town square and look out my balcony. Have you ever seen Under the Tuscan Sun? I'm feeling strong Under the Tuscan Sun vibes. I am already happily married. I'm not trying to meet, you know, Giovanni of my own, for example, but, look at those beautiful Italian men. Have you ever seen handsomer gentlemen just standing around of an evening? Come on. So that's where I'm escaping to this week. Get me out of here, girl. I am going to Italy. And now let's wrap up the episode for this week. And let me tell you something that actually I did not hate this week. And that would be all of the AI videos of these sassy grandmas giving advice to young girls. Have you seen them? They are hilarious. I think there's one that's like Baddie Betty or something like this. They have tons of names because I think multiple accounts are putting them out there. But I think you've probably seen it. They've been all over Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and they look so real. I've seen tons of comments saying, is this real or is this AI? No, these are definitely AI, and it will feature typically a quite older woman, maybe she's in her 80s, for example, but she's dressed to absolutely slay. She is in some designer outfit, typically looking like Chanel based apparel. And maybe she'll be having a drink, a martini, love a good martini, and then giving some kind of advice. So there'll be like an interviewer, like they met her on the street. And the guy will say, you got any advice for young women today? And the grandma will say, well, you know what? Listen, all men will disappoint you, but it's better to cry in a Lamborghini than a Honda. And all I have to say to that is, girl, you never told a lie. You never told a lie. Is it better to be heartbroken in Dubai or Poughkeepsie? You know what I'm saying? So these kind of quotes, I love it. And also, okay, yes, it is AI. Yes, it is fake. We all know. But the quotes are kind of reasonable, to be honest with you. Your time is valuable. You deserve to be with a partner who can give you the kind of life you want, the same way you're trying to give them the kind of partner that they want. Like, we can get all mutual about it, but at the end of the day, I need a batty grandma in my life to remind me that I deserve great things, like anybody else deserves great things. It's easy to forget that as we get older. We're just trying to make do. We're trying to get through the day. You know what? Why should a gorgeous 20-something with perky tits and an ass you could bounce a quarter off of, why does that girl get all the best stuff in life? It's very unfair. I'm a much more interesting partner. I know you can relate. I'm not hot. I'm tripping over my boobs as I get out of the shower. That's a fair assessment. At the same time, I can make amazing conversation with you as we sit and sip our cocktails looking at the sunset over the Mediterranean. You know? What did Frank Sinatra say? When you go out with a girl, it shouldn't be a staring contest. Exactly. Have a good conversation. And, I'm sure there are hot 20-year-olds out there who can also have a good conversation. But bet on a middle-aged woman, because we are going to be able to talk with you about the most amazing things. We are going to make your life so much more interesting. We'll leave it with that for this week. Thank you so much again for tuning in to The Pause Straight Up. I was your host, Shannon, and I hope to see you here again next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, what the kids say these days, and I'll catch you next time.
Dancing in the stardust, we're weightless and free in a world of wonders. Just you and me, lost in the moment. Our spirits ignite as we twirl.